Direct from Foxboro, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxboro Cable Access. It's Foxboro Central, and here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another fantastic episode of Foxboro Central. I am Bob Hickey. I am your host, and I thank you for taking the time to join with me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxboro truly the gem of Norfolk County. As we go through life, we gain skills and we gain experiences, and hopefully those experiences make us stronger and better prepared to deal with the world in general. And I think back in my youth, and I know that growing up I was maybe not necessarily shy, but I was definitely awkward and didn't have. I was a farm kid, and so we had the county kids and the city kids, and so it was a whole different environment that I grew up in, which made for some awkward times. And going to school, you meet other people, and not every interaction is always positive, and not every interaction is always negative. You kind of have to get along, right? Some of us need a little of extra support with that, and that is why I am pleased to be joined by my two guests today, Jennifer Bartecki. Jennifer, Thank you so much for joining us. And how are you doing, Mr. Bordier?
Good.
It feels as though we've known each other for a little bit now.
Yeah.
Of course, Joe is with the Skills Empowered, as is emblazoned on your shirt. Way to do product placement there. I like it. I like it a lot. But seriously, Joe and Jennifer are here to talk about groups that they run, which are skills groups, but it's a little bit more involved than that. So why don't we let you, Joe, take it away and tell us why we're here.
Yeah, so we do social groups, and pretty much what our social groups gear towards is helping kids who might have those little bit of moments of awkwardness with other peers. And what we do is we teach them how to handle that awkwardness. A lot of times in our social groups, what we do is we teach them how to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And we do this in a multiple of ways, but essentially what we do is we get kids out of their comfort zone, get them talking with their peers in a smaller setting so that they feel a little bit more comfortable. And like I said, we do a lot of discussion-based things, a lot of active games to get students moving. And it's a really good time. We try our best to make it as fun as possible so the kids want to come back each week and get to see their peers that they met with the week before. Because a lot of our kids come from surrounding towns. They come from Foxboro.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're not interacting well with maybe kids at school, this gives them a chance to kind of meet kids that maybe they're not seeing every day at school and build those relationships.
Okay. I'm also here with Jennifer Bartecki, and you are the social skills coach.
Yes, one of the coaches. We have quite a few coaches.
Quite a few coaches. How do we end up with so many coaches? What kind of...
we have a lot of kids.
Well, okay then. And so we do a lot of different groups, and it's not all geared towards one specific set. I would imagine you have a lot of different needs that are being met.
Right. Every kid has their own personal goals, their own personal needs, but they're all learning from each other. I think we try to group them in ways where some kids have a certain strength that another child might need more support with, and they end up helping each other.
Okay.
So basically, as a coach, it's more just facilitating the relationship. And
yeah, and I guess that is the whole point of a social group, is that you learn from each other as you're also perhaps teaching, at least figuring out how to, whatever the objective is. So what are the objectives? Getting along, being more outgoing? It's not just a blanket objective, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, sometimes it's simply participating. So simply completing an activity within a group. Other times it's limiting how often somebody interrupts or tries to take over a conversation.
I should probably take that course then, because I seem to have issues with that here. Well, as the host of your favorite local community access interview program, I sometimes interrupt people, and I know that. So that's something that I work on. But I guess with kids, sometimes it's important to teach without letting them know that they're doing something wrong. And I guess that's the biggest challenge, as we all know, because nobody likes to hear negative feedback. Nobody, comes into a conversation, hey, I really wish you would stop interrupting me. Oh, by the way, how was your day? It doesn't always necessarily go down quite so smoothly, does it?
No, it doesn't. And I think the way that we go about it is in a very positive way. And it talks about when we go into those moments where, say we're playing a game and one student wants one color, but the other one wants the same color, how do we handle that situation? And we make it very discussion-based, very coach-oriented, so it's not like, no, he gets it, or no, you get it. It's, okay, how can we solve the problem?
Yeah.
So a lot of our activities and a lot of our structure is based off of that problem-solving model. Let's identify it, let's brainstorm solutions, and then together let's pick which one works best for us.
Yeah, and then I suppose that in the world of using big words, what it really comes down to is it's a difference in just telling you what you want done and giving you the skills to figure out how to accomplish whatever it is needed to be done.
Exactly. It's so much collaboration. It's a lot of team building. Even though they might not be on the same team, they have to learn how to compromise with each other. They have to learn those negotiation skills, being able to advocate for themselves, but also being fair and sharing whatever it is that they might with just even perspective taking as well.
Okay, and what is your title?
So I'm like the program director.
All right.
So we do, I'm the one organizing, scheduling, but I also am there with the groups with Jen and our other skill coaches, helping to facilitate those moments of learning, really.
So Jen, it's interesting because as you were talking, I was thinking, you know what, that'd be really challenging yet interesting. So what got you involved in this?
Well, like I said, I worked with Joe Boderi before.
Okay.
We always had a really good rapport, and I had a huge respect for the way that he handled social issues in our school,
Okay.
such as bullying. And he had a great team approach, helping an entire classroom combat a problem.
Okay. And you're an educator?
And yes, I'm a speech language pathologist.
Great.
Speech therapist.
Okay, super. And so in this role with Skills Empowered, seems to be a little bit different than speech therapy. So it's sort of taking you out of that comfort area and putting you into a different.
It's very similar but different in that I love the setting of Skills Empowered because the kids let their guards down, especially working with the teenage population. It's incredible to watch the transformation in between the first day and then the last day. There's a certain freedom because we're not a school. There aren't the formal rules that you have to follow.
Okay.
But at the same time, we have the same expectations for respect.
So you're not a school and you're not part of the government. So this is a private entity and you are focused solely on the social.
Yep. The social emotional learning of students around the area.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So with this area, we talked about area, is this only just in Foxborough? Is it only for Foxborough kids? Or
No,
is
it's open to really anyone who's willing to come to our program. We have kids that come all the way from Hopkinton that come. Now, most of our kids are in Foxborough. Some are in Mansfield and surrounding areas, Walpole. But it is great to see because, like I had mentioned before, when those kids aren't able to build the relationships with those students in their hometown, they meet another kid from a different area who has a similar interest as them, and then they get connected. And this is probably the most rewarding part for me. I don't know if it's for Jen, but after the 8 weeks and they say, hey, can I get so-and-so's number so that we can hang out after the program's done.
Nice.
For me, that's the most rewarding piece.
I was just going to say that's got to be the biggest smile because that shows that there was a connection made and whatever the reason was for coming in, maybe he didn't completely fix it, but certainly did create that relationship that has overcome that.
Absolutely.
Whatever the issue was.
I mean, our main focus is building skills, but at the same time, building connections. Everyone wants to feel belonged. Everyone wants to feel included. And I feel like for us, that's what we're trying to do is give kids that opportunity to feel included with other people who might have similar interests or who maybe just want to meet new people who have different interests than them. So.
Absolutely.
And sometimes they have the same problems going in their different schools with different people, and they have that.
Yeah, that's it.
It's almost liberating to be able to talk about those.
Because then you get into a situation and you realize you're not the only one. You're not the only one who's socially awkward or doesn't know how to talk around the person that might be, oh, she's so pretty or he's so nice and popular and I would never fit in. And then we all have those feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. So I'm talking with Jen. You said Jen, I'm going to say Jennifer because I'm keeping it formal. Barchecki, who is the skills coach and the social coach, and Joe Bordieri, who is the program director of Skills Empowered. They are a private organization, so they have some flexibility and they also have some really interesting programs. And you might want to reach out to them. You can get to them at www.skillsempowered.com. That is their website. You can also email Joe, Jennifer, and I assume everybody will
Yeah.
Somebody will get assigned to an email to respond at skillsempowered@gmail.com. You can also be their friend on Facebook. You can follow them on Instagram. Lots of ways to get involved. But if I have a kid who maybe my son or daughter is struggling and I see that there might be an opportunity here, how would I get involved?
Well, you'd simply email us. We would direct you probably to our website where the registration link is, and then you just would complete the registration form. You'd send it in. We'd probably give you a contact to be like, hey, can you tell us a little bit more about you and your child? And then we make sure it's a good fit, that both our goals are in line. And that's pretty much it. Then we see you on the first day it starts.
So we say it. Jen, what is it when it starts?
Oh, when our program starts. So we have different workshops. We have social skills groups that meet
See how I led into that? That's because I'm a great host. You see what I'm saying? But okay, I'm sorry. That's exactly what I want to talk about. So what are the offerings? Were we not a one size fits all? So we do different things.
Definitely. There's different age groups. Like I said, there's different social groups. Joe may be able to speak more about the specific program.
So we've done a lot of different things in the past. We've been in existence for, actually, we just pretty much, we're about a little bit over a year now in existence, which is great. And we've done team building workshops with groups and clubs at colleges and universities as well. Really? So like, groups of people who want to build a camaraderie or social cohesion. We've done some workshops for them. We've also gone to elementary schools, one in actually New Bedford, where we would do social emotional learning workshops for teachers and educators. Also around how they can implement strategies around self-regulation in the classroom. So we've done professional development. And this past summer, we actually did our first social event, which was a cornhole tournament where the whole goal was really to kind of get people together in the community around a similar interest or, an easy game to play. And we had about 40.
An easy game to play?
Well, I have to say, when we were there, it wasn't as easy as I thought. There were some guys who were really, really good, a lot of teams actually. And so it was all about community building there. We partnered with the Foxboro VFW. They let us use their space. And it was a great event. We had over 40 teams.
Wow.
Yeah, over 40 teams, and we had a bunch of other family members there as well. And it was really good. A lot of good times, a lot of good laughs, and more people meeting other people that they would have never thought they had an interest or history together. We had two people who they found out they were born in Wisconsin. And I was like, that was great to hear, and it was awesome to see. So
outstanding. So and I remember the tournament, and I remember thinking, wow, that's interesting. So that gets us to things like funding. I know that this is a private organization, so it's not part of the schools, not part of the government, so it's private pay?
It's private pay. We try to partner with community agencies to really lower the cost, and the community of Foxborough has been great with partnering with us, which has been allowing us to lower the cost a lot more than typical programs that are run like this. So it is affordable for families, and then we make it very flexible too. Like if families need assistance, we have no problem with providing a reduced cost, or if they need be given scholarships, full scholarships, whatever it is. We're really just trying to help out as many people, reach as many kids as we can. That's our main focus. So
fantastic. Yeah. And with your role as the school coach, do you find that the kids that are coming to you are able to be served by what you're doing? Is this something that you feel like the difference is being made within your organization?
Yeah, I would absolutely say so. For some kids, it's as minor as, some kids come in and they need to have a security object, and then by the end of it, the security object is by the door, and then it's with mom, and they're very comfortable in their own skin. For some kids that have more severe difficulties, becoming part of a group, engaging with others, you definitely see each and every individual contribute towards the end, and it's just
good.
It's so rewarding. It's really fun.
The organization's been around for a little bit over a year, and so how long have you been working with Skills Empowered?
Just for the past year.
Fantastic. So in that year, how have you seen the organization grow?
I say we have a lot more kids coming.
Yeah,
That's a good thing, right?
Which is a great thing. I know
So it must mean
there's
there's
been-
referrals and people are seeing success.
Yeah, but also the relationships, because they're returning each time, and the relationships between, especially, I know I mentioned the teenagers before, but I think they've impressed me the most because I know that they also had the hardest time coming in. It was scary for a lot of them.
It's scary, and there's also a lot of competing interests to pull you away. So
Yeah, or
to
just,
take the
I
time
just want to go play
to-
video games. I don't want to be here.
Right. So
Yeah.
good for you. That's probably the most impressive endorsement right there, in that you were able to get the teen groups to
Yeah, they don't want it
flourish.
to end.
Well,
It's
and I think
fantastic.
for me too, when you see a kid come in and they kind of are by themselves at the wall or the door, and they're just curled up because of so much anxiety. For Jen and I and some of the other coaches, that they go over there, they talk to them, they try to get them to feel comfortable, and then to see them slowly creep to the group and start to engage, or at least sit with the group, smile, laugh at whatever's happening. I really put myself out there, and I'll act silly. Most teenagers don't want to be laughed at, so I'll give them the opportunity to laugh at me, and that gives them a little bonding for themselves, like, oh, look at Joe over here, huh? And then they laugh at it. And it's a good time.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding. So again, we're talking with Jen Bartecki and Joe Bordieri. They are with Skills Empowered. They are a newish organization and working with children, teenagers to generate coping skills, social skills, and to empower them with the ability to have the skill set necessary to get along better in the world.
Make those connections.
How about that? You've taught me what I'm supposed to be knowing, but the way that you would know it is by going to their website, www.skillsempowered.com. You can reach out to Joe directly by sending him an email at skillsempowered@gmail.com. Also be their friend on Facebook, be their friend on Instagram, and as we closely run out of time, I'm going to give you the last word, of course, but I've got just a few more questions. I always like talking about programs like this because there's a misconception that, and perhaps it's not, perhaps I'm just being cliche, but the perfect kids never have any issues. There's like a star football team, able to play tuba, able to socialize with anybody, but everybody has some deficit area. I'm sure, I know that. In my experience, everybody has something that we're a little shy upon. What if I'm a parent and I have a kid that I know might need somebody, I don't really know how to put my finger on it? Is there an evaluation process? Is there an opportunity for me just to come and visit and say, hi, this is my kid, and we're just curious about your program.
Yeah.
An open house or something like that.
Yeah, so like I said, we're very flexible and we're very personal with the parents, and we want to build those connections as well. So we're very open in the sense that if a parent has a concern and they're like, I don't know if my kid is a good fit, we've had it multiple times where parents have been like, hey, can we just meet you? Can we meet this space and see what it's like? And then I'll meet with them personally. I'd be like, all right, you know what? I think he could be a good fit, or she could be a good fit. You know what? I think maybe this program might be a better fit for what you're looking for your son or daughter. But it's really just being able to have those connections with the families as well, and that open communication, because there's always going to be that hesitation. But I mean, we truly do believe that every student is gifted, and it's just about us trying to unpackage whatever that gift is, that thing that makes them special, those strengths, those unique talents that they have. So no matter what the social functioning is of that child, it's all about either you're building tolerance or you're learning to work with other people. And that's what we try to do, and I express that to parents as well. Even if your son or daughter does have great social skills, it's also about learning how to accept differences of other people too.
True, that's interesting because that's the piece of it that we miss all the time. Okay, I'm great, but there's more to being great than just being great me. It's got to be great we, and the whole community of people out there that we all have to get along with, because we're going to interact with everybody along the way. Life goes in different directions, so and that's something that Skills Empowered can help with?
Absolutely.
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 I like that. All right. So we're close to being out of time. I'm going to get lots more. I'll start with you first, but I'm going to remind everybody one last time that if you go to www.skillsempowered.com, you can learn all about the program. They've been around for just a little bit over a year, which means that they've had great returns because we've got teens that are coming back. We've got kids that are coming back. Maybe it's the right place for you if you have a family member or somebody in your family that might need a little help coping, getting along. Maybe they're a little shy. Maybe they're clearly in need of some support, and that's what these good folks do. Joe Bordieri and Jen, thank you so much for being here. Jen, tell us what you want us to know about you and your program.
Well, I guess being with Skills Empowered has made me a better speech therapist in my work because I get to see how kids can break down and just how much failure you're allowed to give and let the kids soar. I've learned how to trust kids more working with Skills Empowered.
Interesting. And Joe, when I first got to meet you, I was really intrigued by the program, and now sitting here, I can see how high a level of your leadership there is. But tell us about just as I leave here, what is the one thing you want me to know?
Well, I would say the one thing that I'd like everyone to know, even in the town, is that we're always constantly trying to build partnerships. We do truly believe that helping kids takes a village, and it takes those community partnerships. It takes those special people to come in. We're always looking for more skilled coaches who might be interested in helping kids develop those skills that are going to help them in the classroom, at school, build those connections. And I think that's probably the number one thing. We're continuing to try to grow. We're always trying to get better. I think that's the number one thing. We're always open to feedback. So like when parents have things that say, hey, I think this might work better, we say, you know what, let's give it a try and see how it goes. If whatever it may be. But yeah, I would say that's it.
Outstanding. Joe Bordieri, Jen Bartecki. I'm so sorry I was going to say something else. I knew I was wrong, but you can only be right if you reach out to Skills Empowered and learn about the fantastic programs they have for skills empowerment, for socialization, and anxiety. It's a way to help your kid directly by getting them involved, and they can make some great friendships along the way. We are out of time, and on behalf of all of us here at Foxboro Cable Access, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Foxboro Central. I also like to thank specifically my volunteer camera operators, Adam, Taj, and Daniel Alexandria, and also Alex Puri behind the glass, along with my good friend Paul Beck. Until next time, everybody, remember that you can find out anything that you might have missed here by going to our website, www.fcatv.org. Click on the Foxboro Central tab and you'll get all these great programs back at you. Also, be a subscriber and follow us on YouTube. Can't go wrong by watching Foxboro Central because this is where it's all at for information such as Skills Empowered. Until next time, Foxboro, have a great day.